Hello, welcome to the 82nd episode of the Trading Without Borders podcast with your host, Omobi. For today's episode, we are continuing our discussions on investment promotion and facilitation under the AFCFTA protocol on investment. Last week, I spoke about investment promotion, so today we will consider investment facilitation and incentives for sustainable investment. That's what we're looking at today. Let's go right into it. So, under Article 7 of the protocol, the article has listed out obligations of state parties in respect of facilitating investments within the continent, and I will speak about some of them, and I will highlight some of it. Then I'll move on to incentives for sustainable investment. So state parties are expected, subject to their respective laws and regulations, to facilitate investment that contribute to sustainable development. For the benefit of those that are not aware, in my usual parlance, sustainable development means the development that meets the needs of this present generation without affecting the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. That's what sustainable development is. So let's go to the next one. State parties, subject to their laws and regulations, shall facilitate the granting of visas and permits to foreign workers, employees, and consultants as designated by the investor. So when the investor brings in foreign workers, employees, and consultants, state parties are to facilitate the granting of visas and permits. The next one, state parties are also encouraged to streamline investments, administration procedures, and requirements, establish mechanisms for business entry facilitation, including setting up one-stop shops, aftercare services, and digitalization of business facilitation procedures. So this part, number 3, is just about getting rid of bureaucracy. There's no administrative delay. Let's get rid of administrative delays and bureaucracy that's going to hinder the facilitation of investment. Then the next one, state parties are also encouraged to establish a framework for cooperation and coordination between relevant and competent national regulatory authorities with a view to facilitating investment flows. So I'll stop here. Let's go to incentives for sustainable investment. So what sort of incentives state parties introduce to attract, retain, and expand investment that bring about sustainable development of their countries? We're looking at some of those incentives include financial and fiscal incentives such as investment insurance, grants or loans at concessionary rates. Another one is subsidized infrastructure or services and market preferences. Development-oriented incentives to encourage preferential market schemes and specific investment in Africa, especially in the sectors related to attaining sustainable development. Investment guarantees, incentives for low carbon investment, incentives for technology, technical assistance, technology transfer, and research and development, and also incentives to encourage investors' responsible business conduct. Okay, so this is where we're stopping for today's episode, and as usual, the podcast is for educational purposes only. Please refer to a trade specialist, or you can reach out to me on LinkedIn for specialist advice. And until next week, I say to you, bye-bye.